This would typically be a C6-9 here. But it sounds pretty. I'm not going to say it doesn't if you have that major 7. I mean, again, it's nice to have the bass in there, but really the root would be C here. And here's how I like to demonstrate this shape. Here's C major triad. 1 3 5 8, and then you take these two. I always say this 5 and 8, and slide it to 6 and 9, and then you put down 1 3 back down. Now you have 1 3 6 9, and that's a typical shape for a C major 6 9. But if you do this, this magic shape, then you lower the root. You lost your root, and now you have a major 7. Beautiful. Oh, I mean, now you have a major 7 and a 6 and a 9. Super colorful. Hopefully there's a bass player or a guitar player playing that lower C root. Otherwise, you might kind of not hear that. But it's implied. Sometimes it's nice to have the C in there. Yeah. So that's the thing why it works. You got a major 7. Get the third. You got 7, 3, 6, 9. Okay. But it also works up here too. That's pretty. Again, that's more just your face value. But you have the 3. The 6, and the 9, and the 5. In this case, there's no root. So it's a really versatile shape. I'll have to show you how to use it on minor chords next. Because you can use the shape on minor chords to create minor 11th sound. It's just stacked fourths, intervals. But so it can imply different harmonies. And again, I call that the magic shape. I have a lot of little materials on that, and people are always asking about that magic chord shape. That's my nickname for it. I don't know if other people call it that, but again, it's not your traditional tertian triad 1 3 5 7. Again, it's stacked fourths intervals. Okay, I think that's what's so special about it, and why it's so ambiguous, and also why it's kind of very modern. But Django used that all the time. Yeah, but he also loved this shape, and he loved this shape, and he loved the 9. So again, those were his favorite shapes: the 9th chord, the 6-9 magic shape, major 6, minor 6, and from there you could get the 13, flat 13 or sharp 5 with the 9. Again, these chords start to become ambiguous. You might say, well, hey, isn't that D minor 6? No, it's G9. Which one is it? It's B minor 7 flat 5 too. They can have 3 different names essentially. So it gets a little confusing when you're dealing with substitutions and superimposing, especially when you take out the root. As in this case, I always say, well, here's G7, take out the root and go up to the 9. Now you have G9. So here's G. I always show this trick. Here's G7. Here's G9. Here's G7 sharp 9. Here's G7 flat 9, aka diminished 7. But I always show it like that. You start out with just a plain old G7. You take your root and you go up a half step to the flat 9, which is a diminished. Go up one more. Now it becomes a minor 6 or a minor 7 flat 5, depending on how you want to think of it. And then one more, you sharp the 9. I know, Pete. Purple Haze. That's G7 sharp 9. But then you can also raise this note and get the sharp 5. Now you get the sharp 9 sharp 5. Beautiful colors. Or this combination. You get all these random alterations, because those are the 2 notes you want to mess with the most. The 5 and the 9. You can sharp the 5 or flat the 5. You can sharp the 9 or flat the 9 in any combination of that. And the 13 is the 6, and that's a beautiful note as well. 6 right here. So then sharp 5 or flat 13. Flat 5, very dreamy. And regular 5. It's pretty plain, but the flat 5, sharp 5. So again, the 5 is here. And that's why it's important to just know your formulas, to know that the 5th is on top here. And the root here, flat 9. 9, sharp 9, and then you're back to your 3. So that's, to me, pretty important stuff. A little bit more advanced, thinking about this. We're not just we're taking one shape and we're messing with it, assuming you know your formulas. That you can do that on dominant chords, especially. And I often like to take this shape. Again, I won't talk too much about this, but I often take this shape and I say, okay, well, hey, make it a dominant by flatting your 7, or sorry, make it a dominant chord by lowering your 8 to the flat 7. Now take that 8 and flat the 9 on top, get it half step higher, get the natural 9. Here we go, Pete, get the sharp 9. Maybe add on that 13 in the middle here, right here. That's a pretty cool outlandish chord here yet. C13 sharp 9. How do you get that? Well, you start with C7, get the 13 on there, get the sharp 9. But maybe like, it's too dissonant. I like the natural 9. Very pretty. But the sharp 9 just adds some tension and kind of bluesy. Flat 9 with the natural 13. See what I mean? There's all these combos. Let's see. Flat 9 with a sharp 5. But now you're just saying, well, isn't that a minor 6? See what I mean? Isn't this just a minor 6 or a minor 7 flat 5? So they start to have different colors. Ooh, what else didn't we do here? Flat the 5 here. So again, you get some, that would be tritone sub there. Okay, I think we should go on to all of me because I could talk too long on chords, but I don't want to spend the whole time only on chords. But I think you learn a lot of this, the tricks I call them, by learning different songs, and hopefully different songs will have different things that you can slowly throw these in. But the 13 chord was not written on the previous song, so that's what I would recommend is that you put on that D13 to the G6-9 at the very end, just as a little ending to go. It's a nice little ending. Like you just practice that 13. Oh, but I don't know if you caught this. Then I flatted the 13. And then I went to G6-9. Because I like the little chromatic voice leading right here. This. It's nice to have a little chromaticism. It's very sweet. But with chords. And then finally the magic chord. And then the magic chord here. So that was 13, flat 13, G6-9. And that was all a D. So again, in context, that little riff. You could even add the 13 on like this. Or this. And you can add piece all these little things that we've been doing through just these 4 songs. These starting with C jam blues, those chord shapes, and the ending licks and minor swing, that 1. But with chords, 1. And then end it on 6-9. But again, if you didn't catch that, G9, 13. So it's a little lick. Okay, so all of me, I think we should, since we're already doing it, let's just do chords. We all know the tune.